If you saw the movie Faith in the Pocket, you'll know that there are two central characters, the parents of Cody Keith. And if you didn't see it, you can get it at our e-store. The makers of Friday Night Lights have put together Faith in the Pocket. What a story, what a movie. Cody Keith didn't get there easily, Greg, in India. It was a tough journey. Tell us how the turbulence began.
Well, it was. Cody was a gifted athlete as a youngster and came up through Pop Warner football in middle school, and then there were a number of high schools kind of talking to us about him going, whether it was a private school or a public school, and he went to one school and played and had a pretty good career as a 9th grader. Started as their JV quarterback, and then as a 10th grader he was splitting time with another kid, and we kept hearing from college coaches he needed to be on the field, so we made the decision to move him to another school. And we met with the superintendent of the schools, who was, a fine gentleman, and asked him exactly what we had to do, because there were some families that were moving around that were doing things maybe a little incorrectly, and we wanted to make sure we dotted all our I's and crossed all our T's and did everything in the right way, and we did. And unfortunately, we really got ridiculed and beat up in the newspaper over it.
And the media began. Let's take a look at this.
We then heard a tip about the Keiths. They were a prominent family in the most prominent high school in Charlotte. The Keiths are very well known, and so yes, that added to the news value of the story.
We told them why we did what we did. Unfortunately, they decided to do a human interest story on our family instead of doing what they told us they were going to do, which was a story about 4 or 5 other families.
We checked the property records. In fact, found that they had purchased a new home, that home was in a new school district. We thought enough about the story to put it on the front page of the Sunday paper. You had folks writing in letters and emails and stuff like that, debating their decision. It's one thing to move across school lines. It's another thing then for the family to pick up and go across the country.
There's a lot of trash talk, a lot of stuff over the internet and people saying stuff.
One can't imagine how painful it is to have your name besmirched on the front page of the local newspaper. One can't imagine the pain you go through when you want to offer your side, but you really can't do it.
India, this was a pain that you as a mother had to go through. What was it like?
Jerry, it was really hard. A lot of people would blog and say mean things about our family, about our kids, about us just being able to jump up and move across the country. And even though you shouldn't ever read the blogs, because the people that write in those don't really know what they're talking about, I couldn't help it. I had to read because I knew my kids were reading, and I had to be able to just wrap them up in my arms and love them and carry them through it. And it was hard. In the movie, you can hear me say, I didn't even want to go to the grocery store. You know how you go to the grocery store and it's like social hour? You'll see everybody that you know. And all I wanted to do was just go, get my stuff, come home and stay, because you could just hear people talking about you behind your back. And if they're doing that to me, I knew what they were doing to Cody and to the rest of the kids. And it was a hard time.
And I'll say what you won't say, that you're a family that's done so much charity work, and I mean, you're a family that's known for benevolence.
Well, that was another interesting thing about the Charlotte Observer. They only really gave one side of the story, and that's the way it is. It was almost tabloid journalism, because everything they said was bad, and they didn't talk about any of the good. And, that's the unfortunate thing about our media today.
And so we have the transition from North Carolina, which is a wonderful place, to Southern California.
Oh, it's pretty wonderful, too.
Okay. We're going to see this clip about Cody as he ends up in California.
I remember exactly. It was my mom and my dad, and they told me to come in their room, and I sat down on their bed, and my dad was like, I got off the phone with Steve today. I was like, oh, okay. He wants us to move to California. What? Just to move to California? I didn't really react. I was just sitting there, and I was like, my friends, school, I mean, like, what if I don't fit in, you know, I mean, because I wasn't exactly a California kid. Even like when I went to the airport and got on the plane, it never really hit me. I'm moving to California. I mean, I don't even know where to start. Just with everything, you know, football-wise, family-wise. You know, sometimes it gets very stressful with the newspaper articles and stuff like that.
He is by far, you know, probably the most highlighted, you know, player that we've had. And it's a wonderful thing, and yet at the same time it's tragic because there's, you know, a move, and there's, you know, just the circumstances surrounding him, and people always just want to dig up things, and they forget, you're talking about a kid.
The reason we moved to Maranatha, there's just not a better school here. It's been a great place. They've been welcoming.
I just really, really liked Maranatha. I loved that it was a Christian school and we had chapel every Thursday.
When he first came, he visited the school a couple times, and we just accepted him, and he's just a likable guy.
He's got a very soft heart to him. He's got a gentleness and a kindness to him. But, you know, when he runs the football, he's not looking to run around people. He's looking to try and run over them.
And so, Dad, what was it like seeing your son go through all that?
Well, it was a little hard. You know, football, like any sport, is a tough sport. There's a lot of sacrifice. People go on Friday nights and they see all the lights and the glamour and the glitz and all that, but there's so much work that takes place, you know, to get ready for a game and to be prepared to, you know, to lead a team if you're the quarterback. And I'm not sure everybody really completely understands and appreciates all the sacrifice that these young men, you know, have to go through in order to be able to succeed and play on Fridays.
India, skiing, other...
Oh, he couldn't do anything. His friends would be going on ski trips, water skiing, snow skiing, and we couldn't let him do that because we were afraid he might get hurt and that arm might get hurt or he'd break his leg or something. But another point I wanted to make about what Greg said regarding what the quarterback has to do. A lot of people don't realize when you see Matt Ryan this Sunday, as the quarterback, he's got to know where every one of his guys is going. He's got to know what every one of those defensive guys are doing and then plan accordingly and put the ball where they aren't. So it takes a lot of work to be successful at quarterback.
So your business is in Charlotte, your home's in Charlotte, now you get a home in
Except
LA.
It's not Matt Ryan. My mistake. It's San Francisco. I was pulling for Matt Ryan.
That's all right. Well, the transition and everything, it leads up to training camp. Can we look at training camp and then get your observation?
Yeah.
The first day of practice, you know, you're always a little nervous.
Hey, a couple things. If you puke, your helmet stays on. That's your own decoration. Right, if you're puking, you got to keep it on. Second thing, if you puke and you puke on the field, you clean it up. Right, it's your job, not mine.
Let's go. You signed up to play this game. This is part of the workload. I want to see speed through the hole. Why are you stopping? Why are you always stopping?
Well, Hell Week, I heard a lot of horror stories. All my teammates were like, dude, you better get ready.
Just because you're tired does not mean that you were working. It's only going to get hotter and it's only going to get harder.
Hell Week at Maranatha, I mean, it's incredibly unique. I mean, how often when you're in high school do you get to go away for a week, sleep in the same room as your buddies, go through the pains of Hell Week together, pick each other up when they're hurting? You see kids throwing up, you see kids falling down. And they take care of each other, they truly do. One kid will run down and get something for that kid, and just that bond that's forged during that time, it's not easily broken.
Now, the gut power it takes is amazing. So take us from that LA school where he ends up finally in the NCAA. I mean, that is a long journey that most quarterbacks never get to.
It is, and it was neat to be at Maranatha, which is a faith-based school, and go from Maranatha to Cheshire, which is also a very, very fine school. but then to go to play at Division I college football, it's a big adjustment, not only on the football field, but lifestyle.
Andy, how'd you, the Chester, I mean, that's L.A.
We've seen the whole country. It was wonderful.
So how did you keep up? Because you've got so many children. I mean, how did you keep managing the whole deal?
You know, our kids were so supportive of this move. Going across the country, our family went with us. We had one that stayed on the East Coast because he was in law school, but the rest of the family pretty much made the trip out there. They wanted to support Cody. They realized just how important it was for him, and as a family, we do things together. Then when we went to Connecticut, go ahead.
It's also really important to understand, Jerry, that this was Cody's dream.
Yeah.
This was not our dream. Cody kept talking to us. This was his dream. His dream was to be a Division I quarterback. Then his dream, you know, now his dream's to play, hopefully play in the NFL someday. So what we were trying to do is provide an opportunity for our child to be successful. But so many, we were criticized early on that, oh, this is parents trying to buy this for their child or put their child in this situation or that situation, and that really wasn't what it was about at all. This is a dream that has been his since he was a young boy.
And you, as a dad, showed a lot of leadership. This clip reflects the leadership it takes. Let's take a look.
I was amazed at how well he gets the ball out of his hands, how quickly he gets the ball out of his hands, how well he moves around the pocket.
He had the quickest release. He had good arm strength, great height, leadership skills, very cool under pressure, sets up well, great feet. He's a good all-around athlete.
People are finally seeing what we saw all along.
Ever since he's been here, it's just kind of, when you get somewhere and you just know it's the right place, it's kind of felt like that. You know, you can really tell that God's kind of had his hand in this.
My overall thought on Cody Keith is he's a very smart young man, and I just think he's a definite Division I player. I'm going to give him 4 stars in my magazine, and which means that he should be a 3-year starter, at least in college.
And he's like, I'm going to rate you as the #1 quarterback on the East Coast and top 10 nationally.
4 stars means that he's a blue chipper, he's an elite quarterback, and he's got elite skills, confidence, and leadership ability.
You're seeing excerpts from Faith in the Pocket, and if you didn't see it, it's available on our e-store. The creators of Friday Night Lights put it together, and Greg and India Keith, the parents of Cody, are here with us. Faith in God, faith in Christ. You guys, your faith was strengthened through something that could have destroyed it.
Absolutely. It was so cool. You know, it was very painful at times, but it's amazing how the Lord works through your pain. And when you're in the deepest, darkest valleys, His light just shines through, and it's just fantastic. And, you know, He's really taken Cody and made him into a neat leader. You heard Tom Lemming, who is probably the #1 guy in the United States rating high school kids, talk about Cody. Tom's a fine man, and you know, Cody has become a tremendous leader, not only on the football field as a quarterback, but off the football field in his faith and in his journey through life.
And India, what I liked about the movie is it showed the family actually came together during this. Can you speak about that?
Well, it was wonderful having the family together throughout this whole journey. Everybody was so supportive of Cody and his dream. We all moved to California as a family. And then when we went to Connecticut, that was more of weekend trips for us. Cody was in prep school up there for a semester, but everybody would come watch his games. It was a great time for our family to even become closer together.
And Greg, in the final moments, I want you to tell parents how that they can help their children receive Christ and then fan the flame of their dream.
Well, I just think it's so important to allow your child to dream and to pursue those dreams and do that, you know, with the Lord's guidance and direction. Do it with Him being first in your life, and ask Him for His guidance and direction. He'll always be there. He will always be there. It's like He just stands right beside you and just says, "I'm here. All you have to do is ask." And if we just ask, you know, He'll walk with you hand in hand through this journey, as he has our family and as he has with Cody.
So how can we pray for Cody now and in the days to come? It's going to be exciting to watch.
You know, I think more than anything else, obviously his dreams to play in the NFL, but he's first got to play, you know, at the collegiate level, and you know, just pray for the Lord's will. That's the most important thing. The Lord's blessed him with tremendous talent, and he's just got to get his opportunity. And when he has his opportunity, hopefully, you know, he will be very successful.
It's an amazing movie, and I want to just congratulate you both. It shows how young people can take their faith with them. And he's become an inspiration to a lot of young people across America, across North America. We're grateful for that. The creators of Friday Night Lights have put together the movie Faith in the Pocket. If you didn't see it, you can get it on our e-store. It's a perfect movie for every parent, grandparent to put in their hands, put in the hands of a son or daughter, grandson or granddaughter who has an athletic dream, and build their faith at the exact same time. Thank you, Greg and India, for being with us.
Thank you,
for having us.